And we are live with a very special episode. I know I do say that a lot, but we are actually having a very special episode because Gerald Tracy the third, our co-founder of Box Office QBs, he is going to step away from the show for a little bit. So usually we do this at the end, but I wanted to say it at the beginning because Gerald has been such a driving force of Box Office QB since we started it way back in 2018 when we were a very bad blog that I created in like 5 minutes on Squarespace. But Gerald, anything you want to say about stepping away for a little bit?
I'll probably get a little teary-eyed at the end, but for now, it's hard. I mean, life. When we started this, man, life was kind of kicking us in the ass, for being honest.
Yeah.
Both of us were trying to figure out a way to survive in the newsroom, but also just survive outside of life and focus on things and use our craft, our voice, or our writing on something that we cared about a little more than the everyday news cycle was giving us. And it really provided and still provides to this day, I think, for all of us, just like that safe space to be ourselves, be our friends, be with our friends, and talk about stuff that we like and we care about. And it really does suck to not be able to do it as much as I want. We really wanted to lift off the anime one about a year ago, and I still wish, part of me wishes I could have done better on that. But sometimes stuff happens, and you got to just make decisions. And I'm gonna still try to come on when I can, or if I catch a movie or two. But just frankly, with y'all, I haven't even seen Daredevil yet. I've avoided watching y'all's Daredevil episode just because I haven't even seen the first episode of Daredevil this season yet. So I'm not being able to watch as much movies or TV shows, or even do the podcast as much as I would like. So I very appreciate like you, Ahmed, Eric, Ryan, everybody who's had any kind of deal with this. Brian, our friend who gave us our first sponsorship when we had that. So it's it's been a hell of a ride, and it sucks to watch it end. But I know it's not done. I know the Box Office QBs isn't dying. I know that one day Ahmed and Jeff, or one of y'all, or both of y'all, will be able to use this as a catapult to get into entertainment writing or something of the sort. And I'm just always going to be proud of us for starting up something like this and holding it up for as long as we have. I mean, nearly a damn decade of continuous publications. Not a lot of publications these days get to say that. So,
Yeah.
good job on us. Good job to y'all for continuing it. And I'm just sorry that I'm not going to be able to really relish it every time y'all continue to do big things.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Sorry, Jeff. I just wanted to say that if it wasn't for Gerald, I wouldn't be part of the podcast. Gerald was the first one to believe in me, and we did a test episode for Yellow Jacket. And Jeff watched it. He liked it. Initially, I was just going to be a contributor as a writer, and then Ryan's departure, a position opened up, and it's been awesome. Because of Gerald, now I have like lifelong friends like Jeff and Eric, and it's just awesome. We can't wait to see where this journey takes us, and who knows, the future's unwritten. Gerald, maybe he'll come back to be a contributor if you're like there's something blah blah blah, or we'll hate each other again, and this podcast will be like Butcher and Homelander, have a fight to the death.
That's entirely fair.
182 of podcast. We've broken up a few times and gotten back together a few times. So
Cobra Kai never dies. Well, sometimes
that's why it's like, and there is a decent chance. It's just, especially the next several months, guys. I mean, I've got April is probably my freest month, and that's still busy as hell. But then May, I'm going to Kansas, and then I'm to eastern side of the state for a weekend, 2 weekends of the May. June, I'm spending a week in a bachelor party, and then my brother's giving birth to his daughter. July, I've got some big things happening, so we'll see. Yeah, so like we'll see, but it's a lot of excitement, and it is going to be hard. But one thing I did get to do was go see Project Hail Mary on a whim, might I add. A friend of ours, Hansel, grew up with my girlfriend and partner Heather while they grew up in Kansas, and Hansel texted us Friday night, I think last week, or Thursday night, was like, you want to go see a movie in 3 hours? And part of me didn't want to, but part of me wanted to get out of the house. So here we are, and we went to go see Project Hail Mary. I'll let Jeff do the opener, though. I don't want to steal it all.
Yeah, well, we're gonna miss you, Gerald, and you could come back anytime. That's what I wanted to say, and Project Hail Mary. These guys got me to the theater because I have become very picky with what I see in theaters. And obviously, I don't always pick the right movies. I went to go see Scream 7, so that was not a great choice. This, much, much better than Scream 7. This is one of the best movies, Project Hail Mary, that I've seen in a very long time. 84 million, I think, opening box office. 54 million in its second weekend. That is crazy to keep up that type of momentum. Ryan Gosling and Rocky, obviously, still the show. And guys, I was blown away after I saw this. What were your initial reactions?
Like Gerald, I went to go see it on a whim just because I haven't been able to go to the theaters in a while, but I still have my AMC membership that I'm like, when am I going to make time to go to the movies and blah, blah. And so I finally said, no, damn it, I'm going to go see it. And I saw it in Dolby. I'm glad I went to go see it. And my God, I'm blown away. So many amazing things, tear-jerking moments. And of course, Ryan Gosling, Ryan Gosling could just be in a movie where he's not eating cereal or screaming because he's got a hilarious scream. If you ever just need like a pick-me-up, just watch a compilation video of his screams. And even though it's just him, he's one of those few actors that can get away with a far-fetched role like being a science teacher. You don't need to look like, if you look like that and were a science teacher, you wouldn't be a science teacher for very long. So I'm just saying, but it's Ryan Gosling. We forgive him for it.
Yes. What about you, Gerald? I know you love this movie.
Yeah, I really did. And like I said, my friend had texted us like 3 hours before airtime, right? And so I hadn't even heard of the movie. I don't get on social medias outside of like TikTok anymore. I'm on Instagram like a couple times a day, maybe, but I don't see movie trailers anymore. So I was like, what is this? So I looked it up, and my immediate thought was like, is that Reynolds or Gosling? I was like, which Ryan is this? But then I saw a trailer that like, it was the trailer that it made it portray to be more of a comedy of sorts. It was, I'm not an astronaut. What am I doing in space? And I saw it and was like, is that Reynolds or Gosling? Then I saw Gosling at the end, obviously. And I was like, okay, well, I'm down to see it. Because honestly, Ryan Reynolds movies for me lately, they've been a little bit less attractive. He, typecast. It's almost the same movie every time. He's funny as hell, but, you can only be Ryan Reynolds funny for so long. Granted, Ryan Gosling, always emotional. So part of me was watching the trailer like, is this a comedy or an emotional story? Right? We end up with a very emotional story. I had no idea what I was getting into. I was waiting for all the comedy the entire movie. No, I'm totally kidding. It took like 30 minutes into the movie before I realized that this is not a comedy. It's not a comedy. And it's so interesting. Sending someone out, the science behind it, the way that they build the world. And even though, like, I mean, in all reality, there's two main actors in this movie for a majority of the film. Yeah. And they made that work for 2.5 hours, and it could have very well been 3.5.
Yeah, it's Ryan Gosling really acting against himself. A guy off screen is doing the voice of Rocky, and I think that's what's so impressive about this movie is he had to sell all those emotions by really probably talking to a tennis ball at the end of a stick, and that type of performance out of this actor. And I saw something where it was like Ryan Gosling is who Ryan Reynolds thinks he is. And it's true. Ryan Gosling is such a good actor. He can do comedy. He can be dramatic. And I think that's why in the battle of the Ryans, he is always going to be kind of top tier for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's really good at expressions. He's really good at dialogue. But it's just like, I think it's just because he's so unapologetically himself. I mean, I'm going to turn it back to the screams. Those screams, gentlemen, they're hilarious. But also the fact that he like really kind of embodies the role so well. But at the same time, how do I put this? When I was looking up the trivia for this movie, I saw that his the reason why he was wearing the glasses in the movie was because his daughter said he looked smart. And then a couple of the times whenever he's like reacting to Rocky's dialogue, it's one of his daughters at the other end of the line reading what would be Rocky's lines.
I did hear that. I did hear that. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds. I like what you said though. Reynolds is Gosling is who Reynolds thinks he is, and 100%. Ryan Reynolds movies, Deadpool, The Proposal, Just Friends, Green Guy, Green Lantern, Free Guy. Those are just movies. All of them that I've listed. They're all just Ryan Reynolds being a different person with a different name, but they're all just Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got Gosling with such a wide variety from The Notebook, La La Land, Drive, Blade Runner 2094, and Project Hail Mary. Those are just some of these guys' movies. Gosling's all over the place. He has comedy, he has action, he has like dystopian future. He's got love and movies like this with Project Hail Mary. I don't even know what kind of genre this would be, but like it's just so interesting to watch this movie. Like Jeff said, just the thought of like how it was filmed. The loneliness that Ryan Gosling had to portray while being surrounded by all the cast and crew, and also finding a way to communicate with a rock, right? Which even if the rock was a real thing, he'd still be communicating with a rock, not a human, and he does it so damn well.
Yeah, and speaking of the Rock, Rocky, who is our basically second lead of this movie, and that'll lead us into scenes. God, just such emotion from a character that doesn't even have a face. Like, I really grew to love this space alien, and there's a scene where things are kind of, we're going to spoiler territory. Obviously, things are kind of failing on the ship. Rocky needs to break out of his enclosure to save Ryland Grace, and then Rocky is like screaming, and Ryland is like passing out, and we don't know if Rocky survived or not. There's a lot of fake outs in this movie, but that is the scene that's going to stick with me because really I was so scared for the safety of this thing from another world, and the fact that Phil Lord and Chris Miller can create such emotion on screen from these two characters is really what is going to stick with me in this movie.
That is a great scene.
Yeah, I would say like that, along with like the visuals throughout the entire movie. Everything from inside the space, I guess the ship, to space itself. Like the visuals are just fantastic. It also like roots it in some kind of realism with the visuals on Earth. It feels like a today classroom when he's in it, right? It feels like, political or geopolitical issues that we could possibly deal with in a sense of like realism. We all know that now I'm blanking. Climate change is real. So like things like this. You thought this was a conservative podcast? No, climate change is real, damn it. But like just real life scenarios, and yes, it's a stretch, right? Something coming meeting the sun, but that is stuff that we talk about on a daily in today's world. Like how is our pollution, how is the way we live affecting the sun and our timeline on this earth that we love so much. Perfect thing right there. Also, just like the idea that Ryan Gosling, his character in this, has a very deep responsibility, right? He's not just trying to make sure he lives, he's trying to make sure the world lives, and he didn't even want to be on the ship in the first place. And I think that gave him a place in his head where he was told, not so different from like how the patriarchy and men are made to think today, like I have to shoulder this all on my own, it doesn't matter if I die, blah blah blah. And you see all of that crushing down on him in the scene when Rocky keeps telling him, I have enough gas to get you home. And you see like Ryan just break down, like from the man who's like, I don't want help, I don't need it, I'm not going to accept it, to the man who's crying, saying like just 5 seconds later, like, you're right, I'll take the help, send me home, baby, please. And then again, not 10-20 minutes later, when he realizes Rocky's not going to make it home himself if I don't go back and save him. Just so much to unpack in that 30 minutes right there. the whole movie is like that, and it's just
Yeah.
so incredibly crafted, visually, acting, directing, writing. Everything is great in this film. Um, really, the only film I thought might have done it better, rooting in realism and showing good shots this year at least, is One Battle After Another.
Yeah.
But One Battle After Another came out last year, didn't it?
Was it not the end of 25?
Yeah, it was September of 25, but still still won Best Picture this year. So
Yeah.
So I think this one's better than that. So I do think that it's early. We're gonna get more movies over the year, but like that, this movie could easily be up for one of those. And mind you, it's also a movie based off a book, which doesn't always mean great things. But and I don't think any of us have read it here. I would be interested if any of our viewers who are watching now or later have any thoughts about the book adaptation. Someone I was watching it with, one of our friends, partners, was there, and they had mentioned that they had read it, and it was very similar. They said there were some different things, like Rocky had a little more dialogue throughout the thing. There's a lot more funny. But I'd just be interested to hear and kind of like what they did take out, because to me, like, I don't know what you could add to make this better, but I also saw a report that the original director's cut was almost 4 hours long.
Jesus Christ.
Honestly, I would have loved, like, this was one of the fastest 3-hour watches I've ever been a part of, like in a movie theater. Yeah. I would be down to watch a 4-hour cut of this movie. We watched a 4-hour Schneider cut, and that was not great. Yeah. So I can definitely get through this. So
wasn't that 6? Yeah,
it was stupid long, way too long for my taste, and I love Super.
It was way too long, but it made it better. I'm not gonna lie, the Snyder cut made it better.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind. I didn't mind the runtime. I'm glad it was the length that it was, though, personally, just because I don't know how much more of a roller coaster of emotions I could have taken. We talk about favorite scenes, everything you guys mentioned, but I'll take it to the very end, just because whenever he comes back to find Rocky and he's like, I didn't want to leave you behind. And it's like, well, what the fuck's going to happen now? How are they going to get out of this? Like, it just kept looking like, were you guys there when we reviewed Iron Claw? Did I do that without you guys?
I think that was a solo. I just couldn't watch it. I kind of knew what was coming. So I was like,
yeah. It's a depressing ass movie. And spoiler alert for Iron Claw, they didn't include one of the other brothers dying because it was already heartbreaking enough as it was seeing 2 or 3 brothers get killed. So to see like the ending where he's like teaching, he's back to what he wanted. That to me was like the most beautiful, most powerful ending ever. And we talked about like how it was based on a book. I disagree that I think some books that are adapted into movies don't do well. One Battle After Another was a book. A lot of like Oscar-winning Train Dreams, which was nominated, was also based on a book. I think those are the only ways we can get original storytelling these days, because we're so reliant, or Hollywood rather, is so reliant on adaptations of, or I'm sorry, reboots, rehashing sequels and all that shit. And like they're gonna make Heat 2, which I'm like, why the fuck were we gonna do that? But Michael Mann, who wrote the book Heat and directed Heat, wrote Heat 2, the book, in 2011. So, and he's also directing it. So it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I have no choice but to give it another chance, especially if the creative force is the one who's like directing it. And I want to say that one of the things in Project Hail Mary that they didn't also include in the book was, I think the agent. I'm forgetting her name, but she was a lot more ruthless. Like, she was a lot less polite as she was, which thank God, because I don't know if I could take another like, geez, Ryland, why don't you just murk yourself now?
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
There are some dark themes in this movie, because basically it's a suicide mission. Like, the 3 astronauts that do sign up, have made a pact to die for the planet. And as my dogs will tell you, it was very heartbreaking because this has such like non-linear storytelling that you see that the two astronauts that went along for the ride with Ryland didn't survive.
Yeah, and before that, 2 others passed away before then.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
or I'm sorry, it was the guy who Ryland ended up replacing.
Yeah. So yeah, like the non-linear storytelling I think worked. I know it doesn't work for a lot of stuff where it's kind of bouncing back and forth. Really worked for me here because you gotta kind of see like Rocky and Ryland's relationship evolve like almost right away in the film, like maybe halfway through, and I really did like that. And I liked the relationship between the lady in charge and Ryland's character as well. I do think that my favorite character, if we're going to get into favorite characters, would obviously be Rocky. This is what I'm going to remember about this film. He is like an instant movie icon. So yeah, that's where I would go.
Yeah, Rocky just got his own plush order through Amazon, probably. It's no, it's a great movie. It really is.
I have to give Ryan Gosling as my Ryland. He'd have to be my favorite character. I couldn't do anything.
I think so. I think I have to agree on that. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Obviously, he's one of like 2 characters of more than 3 lines, but I think it's because he really carried this movie, right? And I don't know what other actor you put there who's going to also carry it. I'm sure that you can name 5 right now, Ahmed or Jeff. I'm sure we could. Same time, Ryan Reynolds really knows how to drive home emotion. He did it in The Notebook. He did it in La La Land. He did it again here. Ryan Gosling, Reynolds. See, even I went Ryan Reynolds was better. But I think overall stellar film. And I agree with you. Not all Notebook was a book too, and they got awards. I think when I think that sometimes I'm thinking more like the Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings trilogy, stuff like that. But original storytelling, yeah, I think maybe Americans just got to boycott Hollywood better. Maybe we just got to do that.
I think the other message that people need to take with this is we really need to listen to our scientists. I listened to a podcast where these 2 scientists, if I can remember the name of the podcast, they're not like partners with us, but just to give them the shout out. They interviewed Ryan Gosling and it's Curiosity Theory with Dr. Dakota Tyler and Justin Schaefer. These guys interviewed Ryan Gosling and, they were saying how he really did put a lot of, it's like he didn't try too hard, but he didn't try too little. Basically, the fact that the nonlinear storytelling is one thing, but the fact that he was clumsily going through zero gravity and putting the not an astronaut. Even astronauts told Ryan Gosling that, yeah, it's kind of like that. No one's a ballet dancer in space. Everyone's kind of like dropping shit. They don't look their best. And so the fact that he is able to take us through this roller coaster ride of what am I doing here? How do I get out? And ultimately the heartbreaking realization that I was sent here. I have nothing for me. So what is the point? And then finding purpose. It's like you never know what happens. Sometimes we just need one person to believe in us. And maybe it's 2. It's the scientists and then it's Rocky.
Yeah, I wanted to add something on the nonlinear storytelling real quick. What I really liked about it was that it wasn't random. And I think when Jeff said it doesn't work with everything, I think it actually works more often than not. I think when it doesn't work is whenever they seemingly place random things and they expect you to put it all together at the end. The way I was getting these flashbacks, the way I understood them, was like every time Ryan went to sleep in space, or Ryland went to sleep in space, he was having a dream about his past. And that was giving him further information because he would wake up and you'd see he'd write something on the board. I was a teacher. why was I studying this? Why was I doing this? He'd erase something when he found out the next dream. So I took it as this man was dreaming about what happened because he was asleep for, I think, at least 2 years in a coma. And I think that's also a scientific plus because I'm not a scientist, so I would have to ask my scientist girlfriend. But I'm pretty sure that means when you're in a coma for 2 years, you're going to have memory loss, right? You're going to take a little bit to figure shit out. So when this guy's going through the process. So I think that's how comas kind of work. So I think that's what happened there. And I really appreciated it. At first, you're like, what's going on here? But I really liked it because beginning of every one of those flashbacks, really misty, really blurry, like you're going into a dream. And then also leaves that way, like you're going out of a dream. And I found that I really appreciated that.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. I didn't even think that it would be like what he was dreaming of when he was in the coma. Love you, Gerald, and I love the analysis that you bring to this.
I think, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Somebody who read the book, tell us.
Oh, it's true now, according to us. So.
It's true now, according to the internet.
Either way, I think it's like a really nice interpretation of it because, even artists will like if you have an interpretation of their song, like that's actually not what I was going with, but I can see how you think that. That's actually really cool. And so, you never know. Or the other way around. Yeah, finally, someone got it. Yay, you picked it up.
Well, cover a lot of ground. There is one thing to get to, and that is our final rankings of this movie. Still forgot to upload the rankings thing because I did this very quick after work. But I will give this a Hall of Fame, my first Hall of Fame of the year. For a movie, and I think this is one of the strongest movies I've seen in theaters in a very long time. I'm going to be thinking of this movie all year, and I can't wait to hear what you guys are going to rank this.
Hall of Fame for sure. I mean, it's a movie you have to see in the theater. It's a reminder of why we go to the movies, and in terms of rewatchability, yes, that's why it deserves to be Hall of Fame, but I wouldn't goat it just because it's like one of those deep sci-fi tearjerker films that I don't know if I want to go through that again, but it is a really good film. I hope it gets nominated for something. I hope it wins some things. But I wonder how all these other, because we're still at the end of March. I can't wait to see what other movies will try to top this.
Topping it? Yeah, what other movies? I know we have a lot of superhero movies coming out this year, but let's be real. None of those are going to win over this. It's not happening.
So you have no hopes for He-Man. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, no, not at all. But I'm giving this a Hall of Fame. I will note that for people who are a little less willing to watch a 3-hour-long movie, it's maybe an all-star because the length does drop it down for some people. Also, it's definitely better in theaters. I can already tell you that if I was watching this for the first time in my house, I might pause it, go do something in between here and there just because it's so long. And that's just kind of how we work nowadays in this society. None of us have attention spans long enough to really sit there for 3 hours unless we pay for it. So I think Hall of Fame movie to go to in theaters, all-star movie to watch at home. Fantastic. I'm gonna drop some other rankings real freaking quick. The Harry Potter trailer looks fucking great. I'm not against it anymore. Black Snape is here. We're gonna have to deal with it. They're gonna do so many better things after season 3 though. So I'll come on here just to make sure you don't shit on it for season 1 and 2 because those two are gonna be basically copy paste from the movies. After halfway through season 3, we should be getting some original shit. Especially fourth on. Holy hell, should be great. JJK this season's looking fucking fantastic. All those lobotomy Kaizen fans can eat an ass. JJK is fucking nailing it. Frieden looks great. One Piece, even live action, looks great. So all the nerds that were gonna miss me talking about that shit, go look at it now. Yeah. I'll probably come back for the Harry Potter one though. Just dead ass.
Yeah.
Because at first I was so against it. Why were you making it? Why were you making it? But I watched the trailer. I kind of like the vibe they're going with there. I don't hate Hagrid's face. I kind of hate his voice. Want him to sound a little more less smart. Snape, the only issue with that is that like James literally hangs that man from a tree at one point in the books, and like I wonder how they're going to deal with that because he is now a black man. That could bring some stuff. But at the end of the day, Harry Potter really is a story about race wars. It's between the Muggles and the Half-Bloods, or the Half-Bloods and the Wizards, or the Wizards and everybody else. And Snape joining the side that is the racist side, him being a black man now, that could have something to go into the story. I don't expect them to change that much of it. The thing I'm really looking forward to is Hermione and Ron being a prefect and Hermione launching the Black Lives Matter for elves, because that'll be the greatest damn thing ever. And I can't wait for the conservatives to lose their shit on the internet for it.
Well, and while this isn't a conservative or liberal show, go check out Jeff's episode excerpt from an interview with our old co-host. Well, what the hell was he?
Ryan, yeah.
No, what was
shout out to Ryan for having us on Fox Live. I try to keep it as neutral as possible.
Yeah, Jeff, that man, he can't. He's very, very adamant.
Yeah. I didn't say what I wanted to say.
It's the reason why that's why we're doing this episode live, so he doesn't throw chairs at us like
that way y'all can't get mad at me for
Whiplash. Not my tempo.
Yeah, this streaming works great for me. I end the stream and it uploads automatically. So shout out to StreamYard, sponsor us, as Ahmed would say. But Gerald, we are gonna miss you. I love everything you contributed to the pod. We are also all best friends off the pod, so I'm going to be sending you a million TikToks tonight, as usual.
He's going to watch none of them, but
he killed the streak. Jeff killed the streak. We had like 130 days going. Jeff, I have a 400-day streak, a 300-day streak, a 290-day streak.
Don't worry, we'll get back to it. We'll get back to it. Anything else you want to add, Gerald, before we get out of here?
Just thanks to all the people who actually watched us and read us over the years and followed us and supported us. I mean, a lot of these people are friends and family, so thank you guys for continuing to give us views. And adios, sayonara, annyeong keseo. Like I'll probably be back. I really don't want to keep telling y'all I can't do it this week. And then leading you on, making you feel like I'm just letting you do all the work. It's not fair to y'all.
Going out for cigarettes and then never coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Milking cigarettes and not coming back. It's crazy. But like I said, I'm going to try to come back when I can here and there. I'm aiming for at least the end of the Harry Potter series for y'all. We'll see if anything else comes up. Let me know. Maybe I can see if I can work something out. But I've been really appreciative of it all. Jeff, even embracing my weeb shit and making a shirt that said otaku shit in Japanese was great, because when I actually learned to speak Japanese, I was actually surprised Jeff got that right. You actually spelled it right in Japanese. Good shit.
Thanks, Canva. That's what that was. He doesn't have to dishonor his family.
He doesn't have to dishonor his family. But yeah, no, I'm glad. And we're obviously have a lifetime of memories with us guys. So.
Well, this has been another edition of Box Office Quarterbacks. That's Gerald. That's Ahmed. I'm Jeff. We will see you guys very soon for an episode that I don't know yet. Have a good one.